counting sheep, and I'm going to play with some gadgets, kitchen gadgets, my favorite thing, and some mini gadgets, but actually all of them are from the kitchen. So I'll start with the bigger items, and then I'll end up with some of the tinier mini gadgets. The first one, actually the first two that I'll show you, I got at the thrift store. This is one of those spaghetti combs, and you can measure the spaghetti for whatever portion you want through the holes, and then you cook it, and then you use the comb to scoop out the spaghetti. And I love these. I think they're very handy. I actually never use the measuring device because I already have a good sense of what I want when I'm cooking, but it's nice to have. And then I'll play with this little comb a little bit. I actually made this video before when it was lighter out, so I hope you can see me all right. I played with some lighting in the house. There's a bit of a hot spot here, but it's the best I could do. I made the whole video and I was wearing my stones around my neck, and the microphone, I didn't realize it, but the stones were knocking into the microphone, so it was very distracting. So we'll see how this one goes. Some people have asked about my copper ring. I sometimes wear it. It came out of some old costume jewelry of my mother's, an old box of costume jewelry that I was actually taking. I may have told this story before. I was taking it to donate to the school where I was teaching, because we do a lot of theater, obviously, and shows, and I thought, oh, it'll be handy. And then I pulled this out, and it used to have white around these little this little decorated edge. It used to have white on it, and there was only a little bit of it left. Anyway, it's worn off, and I just loved the copper color by itself. I'm sure it probably was all painted at one time, but I think it's beautiful. All right, so that's the story of my ring, and this is my spaghetti scoop, or my spaghetti comb. So now I'm going to pull out my next gadget, which I also got at the thrift store, and it's this funky whisk. And the wire tips are coiled and they're covered with silicone, and they've kind of got that the look of the coil part of a safety pin, and it fits into the corners in the pan, and it whisks things just super fast. I was skeptical of it, but I thought, it's 69 cents. I can afford to take a chance with it. So anyway, I'm really glad I got it because it works super well. So if you ever see one of these, I recommend them. And I love it too because I can use it in my ceramic pans so that it doesn't scratch them. It's really nice to have. I'll tap it a little slower here. Great. And I wish this made a nice sound, but it doesn't really because of the silicone, so I won't spend any time on that. But that's my fun little kitchen new used whisk. All right, the next item up is a little set of prongs. Well, it's just one prong, but it has a set of tips on it. And this is the one I use most for my tea bags, and if I need to kind of turn something over in the oven. I don't know if you can see, but I've got a scar on my hand. Yeah, you can see that pretty well. And I got that from many, many years ago. It was Thanksgiving pie, and I just have a horrible habit of reaching in the oven, if I'm like, oh, it needs a little bit of salt, or let me just check it. And instead of pulling the tray out, which is very simple to do, I reach in and do last minute things, and then I touched the upper element of the oven and I heard it sizzle and pop, and it wasn't pretty. So anyway, and I've done it more than once. You'd think I'd learn. I've got a scar there too. So these are to remind me not to do that because it's a terrible habit. I don't recommend it. This has a little ridge in it on both sides. And then this ring covers it, keeps it nice and tight and narrow so that it fits into my cup where I keep my little mini gadgets without taking up too much room, so I like that. And it has a nice scalloped, serrated edge. And the tin from the prongs goes all the way into the tip, so I can bend the tips if I need to, but I don't usually. Oh, and I use it for my tea bag sometimes. Again, if I'm not too lazy, sometimes I just squeeze the tea bag and let my fingers get hot. But this is what I use when I'm being good. And I pull my tea bag out and squeeze the oils from the tea and the liquids, and then throw it away. All right, next up is very simple. It's a miniature spatula. I'm sure you've seen these everywhere. And I love this size because it lets you get into little jars, get the last of the jam or of the sauce, whatever you want that's in the bottom of the jar, and makes it easy. So silicone was a nice thing to come up with for cooking, wasn't it? I sure hope we don't find that it causes cancer down the road. Supposedly it's safe, but who knows? And I'll just rub that along there's a little bit of a texture to this little pull-out shelf of my desk. It's distressed wood, and it does have a sheen to it, but it also has a little bit of a texture. Yeah, I can hear that more with my finger. All right, I love this next gadget because it's very unique, and I love a good unique gadget. I think I've got a little bit of coconut oil in the tip of it. This, I'll hold it maybe under the light a little bit more. This is an olive scoop, and it has two sides. You can see it has this little side that lets you, like if there's a teppanyard in the bottom again. I like things that get things out of the bottom of the can or the jar. But it's got this little tiny scoop, and it's just teeny, so that it can get just about anywhere and scrape out something that's stuck. And then this side is for olives. And I love olives. I like teppanyards, I like regular olives, and I've just fallen in love with this new green olive. Well, it's not a new olive, it's new to me. And I can't remember, it starts with a C, Castello olive, I can't remember what it is. But they're little green olives, and they typically still have the pits in them. And of course it's so much easier if they don't have the pits in them. But I am more than willing to work the pit out of it because I love these olives. They remind me, they kind of have an apple flavor to me. They're very fresh flavored, and as with most olives, you can get them both in vinegar and in oil. But I, a few years back, went to an Italian restaurant, and they had these little olives that they served. And it was my first time trying these green olives. So anyway, I guess it was about 3 years ago, and I fell in love with them. And I can't find them everywhere, so when I see them, I try to get a few of them. I found them also at a little stop when I was driving through California a few years ago. There was an olive store that it wasn't a farm, it was an olive farm, and they had an outlet there that was incredible, that had every kind of olive, everything that you could imagine. It was pretty amazing. They had them there, of course. Okay, so that's my little olive spoon. Again, silicone. You can see I've chosen red for a lot of my gadgets because my kitchen here in Washington is black. It's got kind of a charcoal gray black granite. So I like to have some red and a little bit of teal here and there to perk it up. So there we go. All right, my last gadget tonight, and I'll pull it into the bright spot, is this little ceramic plate, square plate or container. And I have sea salt in it, and this little tiny, tiny, tiny bamboo spoon. And this spoon actually came inside of a tea packet. It was the neatest tea, and I can't remember what it was called, but they sold all kinds of chais, and it was really just a finely ground tea and spice mixture. And you were just to put 1 scoop in your hot water and then whatever sweetener or milk you wanted. And it was surprising how potent it was. I just loved this chai. And it had a bit of a kick to it. It would give my throat a little tingle, but I loved it. And the packets came with these little spoons. And I wish I would have saved them all. I didn't think about it until the end, but they're perfect for little salt and sugar spices. So this little dish, I have 3 of these dishes that come in a bamboo tray, and I put little spices. I used to put teas in them, but now I put little spices in them, and sea salt. I always have sea salt out there. I got the idea from my sister because she has 3 kinds of salts out, and she kind of plays with whatever she wants at any given time and throws it in. And so I'll just play with the salt. I don't know if you can see. It's almost like a little mini Zen garden here. It's a nice sound. I think the spoon is made of bamboo. There was a store when I was in Oregon last year, and you see them around quite a bit now, but it was it had sugars, different flavoring sugars, spices, and teas, and then it had a whole section of salts, finishing salts. And I had never known that finishing salts were different than regular salt. And you don't cook with finishing salts. Typically you just sprinkle them over the top of things, and because they're flavored, they have champagne and Chardonnay and ghost pepper and hickory smoked, all kinds of beautiful coarse salts. And you just sprinkle them on your food after it's cooked or after it's prepared. I'm just going to play with this for a while, then I'll say goodnight. I hope you have a wonderful rest.